तव कथामृतं तप्त जीवनं कविभिडीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमंगलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. Let us resume our discussion on Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual discourses. In this connection, Sri Ramakrishna came to witness a drama, Brishaketu, in a theatre of North Kolkata, Star Theatre. This is a very famous theatre even now, though the venue is changed. Now in Cornwallis Street, but in those days it was in Bidden Street, which is known as Minerva Theatre now. There Sri Ramakrishna went, and it is interesting to note that not only M, the recorder of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, was present, Girish Chandra Ghosh was the manager of the drama, and Swami Vivekananda was also present there. Because as soon as Sri Ramakrishna came, he inquired, has Narendra came or not? Now, what was the significance of this drama? Why Sri Ramakrishna wanted Narendra should see? The drama about Karna, you say that Data Karna. There has not been any Dani like Karna ever in the history. We discussed the principal part of the story last week, and let us conclude the topic today. We have said that Mahabharata, written by Vyasa, is not the only version. There are many Mahabharatas, and one is Sarala Mahabharata, written by a Odia poet, Sarala Das, and it is in the much later part of the history. The story is as per the same description given by Sarala Das. Now, the age is 1435 to 1467 AD, the time of the reign of Kapileshwara, otherwise known as Kapilendra Deva, the famous Gajapati king of Odisha. According to this description, we discussed that towards the end of the battle, Kurukshetra battle, first it was Bhishma was the general of the Kauravas. After his fall, then Dronacharya became the general. He also lost. The third one line was Karna. Like Bhishma and Drona, Karna was also invincible because he was the son of no other than sun god. He was immortal. But we know that he was an illegitimate child of his mother Kunti. Kunti was very beautiful, And in her maiden days, seeing his beauty, the sun god became enamored. He appeared before Kunti and they fell in love. But still Kunti was not married, he was Kumari. So nevertheless, their child was not born of the natural process. Child was born out of the ear of Kunti. Now this may sound fantastic nowadays, that how a child can be born from the ear of a person. Previously I used to think this is all bogus. Later on, when I studied science, and now in the Vivekananda Hospital we have studied the medical science, and I found that there is an IVF lab, test tube child, where the child is born outside the biological system of man and woman. It can be born in a laboratory with the sperm of a male person and the egg of a female, and hatched in a laboratory as the infertility fertilization lab you have recently established in Vivekananda Hospital. So anyway, I am not getting into the scientific description of the matter. And since Kunti could not keep the child, he kept the child floating in the river and let it go to save the prestige of sun god and herself. And it was lifted by a Sarathi, horse trader, and he kept and reared this child. So Karna never knew who he was. Neither the world knew, Kunti knew, and of course God knows. Toward the end of this Kurukshetra war, the sun god appeared to Karna, because after all it is his son, and he told him that in fact he is his son and he is the eldest child of Kunti. Kunti is known to have 5 sons: Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadev. But before her marriage with Pandu, Karna was born. So in the line he becomes the eldest son. Now, when Karna became the general of the Kauravas, Kunti knew who Karna was. So one day he approached Karna to his tent and he narrated this story, that Karna was her eldest son and Yudhishthir, Bhimadi उनके सगे भाई है. She appealed that he didn't want that his sons fight among each other and kill one or the other. अपने सगे भाई कैसे दूसरों को हत्या करेंगे? Karna was perplexed. He couldn't disbelieve mother Kunti. Kunti was a very venerable lady. So Kunti persuaded Karna that he give up this fight, not take the responsibility of killing his own brother, Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjunadi. Because he knew Karna is invincible. He cannot be killed. Why? Because at the time of his birth, Surya appeared, and as a token of as a recognition of his son, he gave him that armor and a pair of rings. Karna Kundal एवं उनका शरीर में कवच, that is Sahajata Kavach, it is not worn, it is a part of his body. Kavach and Karna Kundal would make him invincible. Nobody can kill him. And he is inherited, not worn later on. So Surya appeared before Karna and said, "My son, you are invincible." Here is Arjuna, who is the son of Indra, who has the power also to kill you, but you are invincible. Do not dispense with this kavach or kundal to anyone. He said, all right. Now Arjuna went to the heaven, and in a court of the gods, he was telling that now he has to fight against the Kauravas headed by Karna. Indra knew the story because they are gods. Indra told Arjuna, you cannot win him unless this Kavacha and Kundala is taken away from him. He promised Arjuna, he is also his father, Indra. He promised Arjuna that I will go and somehow manage to beg this Kavach and Kundala from Karna, and the moment this Kavach and Kundala is taken away, then he can be won, no difficulty. And Karna is known as Data Karna. Whoever wants anything, he will give. Because he knew that giving away is a secret of success in life, as Swami Vivekananda says. Swamiji says that in Mahabharata, Vyasa said that in earlier ages there will be a lot of different practices of jag, yajna, ityadi, but in the Dwapara Yuga, there is only one practice is left, that is dana, sacrifice. The greatest virtue one can have, give away. And the more you give, the more it is replenished. This is a secret. Those who are clever enough, they follow this secret and win in every aspect of life. So in the hierarchy, the greatest dana is the gift of knowledge, divine knowledge, spiritual wisdom. And of course, then next in line is secular knowledge. Greatest gift one can give. And the third is line is pranadana. Give the own life for the sake of others. And Karna was prepared to give up his life as gift if situation arises. After returning from heaven, Arjuna narrated this story where Krishna was present. He told Arjuna, you have made a mistake. You shouldn't have narrated. In the gods, because there Indra is seated and Sun God was present. Definitely Sun God will communicate this message to Karna, not to dispense with his Kavach and Kundala, because Indra might try to get it away from him. Then they said, what will happen? Then Krishna said, all right, I will test his power of gift. First of all, I will go in disguise of a Brahmin and ask the life of his son. Now, a person, son is dearer than his own self. आत्मा वही जायते पुत्रः कहा जाता है, ये स्वयं से उनके संतान प्रिय होता है. So Karna will never be able to give up his son's life at any cost, but in case he gives, then he will give his life also, then you are safe. So there the story went, which I discussed last time briefly. He appeared as a Brahmin and approached Karna and his wife when they were engaged in dana, and everything was given, all the wealth was given, and Karna was about to go. Then at that point, the last moment, he appeared and then said that my prayers may kindly be fulfilled. Then Karna said, today's arrangement is over. I have given away everything what I had. Please come tomorrow. I will fulfill your demand, whatever you want, to the fullest term. But today I don't have. All the wealth I brought from the treasury is over, and the time is over, I cannot give. Then the Brahmin said, no, I do not want any wealth. I want your son. So Karna said, all right, you take my son, I will dispense with him. Then he said, no, I do not want him alive. I want that yourself and your wife will cut his body in pieces. They were surprised at this proposal. How can we cut, and that too with my wife? He said, that's my prayer. Either we give or we declare that you are no more a data. Your name will be lost. You will be no more a data Karna. Karna pondered and he asked his wife. His wife agreed. Shaibya. So they took the son's body and they pierced into pieces by a chopper. Of course, both weeping profusely at the ill fortune. And when the pieces were made, then the Brahmin says that I belong to a different category of Brahmins who are non-vegetarian. And I relish meat, and that too human flesh. So now I want to eat this child's flesh. It is very tender, and it should be cooked by your wife. This it is impossible. We have never heard of a Brahmin is non-vegetarian and to such cannibals. Then said, then I am going, I do not want. Then the wife was forced to cook the flesh of her own son, and then it was offered to the Brahmin. The story says the Brahmin came and then he complained to Karna that though you have fulfilled your desire, fulfill my desire, and you are truly Data Karna, but a person is known by his wife also. His wife is the half of his personality. The person and his wife made a total personality, and your wife has cheated me. I have been cheated here. I refuse to accept this meat. Why? The entire body has not been presented to me. His head is missing. Then they inquired and found that wife could not cook the head of her son. He kept it aside. And the Brahman said, nothing doing. And the head has to be pounded in front of me by both of you, so that I may not be cheated once again. That also was done, and the different dishes were made out of their son's head. And then finally, when they said, please take it and relieve us of this pain, then he said, how do I know that you have not mixed any poison to these dishes? I will take only when both of you share this dish. This is impossible. Karna said, this in story says, Karna was refused to take. In the story he said here, अतिथि आनंद करते हुए कर्म से कह रहे हैं, अब आओ हम एक साथ बैठकर पका हुआ मांस खाएं। कर्ण कह रहे हैं, यह मुझसे न होगा, पुत्र का मांस खा नहीं सकूंगा। एक भक्त ने सहानुभूति प्रकट करके धीरे से आर्तनाद किया, साथ ही श्री रामकृष्ण ने भी दुख प्रकट किया। नाउ obviously, this Brahmin was not an ordinary Brahmin. He was Sri Krishna in disguise. He was testing to what extent Karna can go to fulfill his virtuous trait of life. We may be virtuous, but when we are facing different adverse situations, we compromise. हम राजी हो जाते हैं, झुक जाते हैं। हमारे जो स्वरूप है, विवेक है, वो हम भूल जाते हैं। जो व्यक्ति प्रतिकूल अवस्था में भी अपना चरित्र को बचा के रखते हैं, वही बराबर के लिए जीते हैं। कर्ण इज दैट्स व्हाई ही इज प्रातः स्मरणीय। Till now, there is no parallel to Karna. So here, when this was done, then Karna agreed. And then he said, please bring 4 plates here to serve the food. They say there is no 4th person. Myself, my wife and yourself, the 3 persons, 1 guest and 2 hosts. No, prepare the 4th plate. Then the Brahmin said, then they asked, who is the 4th person? He said, you call your son. They said, my son has been already killed and his meat is prepared. Then nevertheless, you go and call him outside. So his wife went. Karna was almost senseless. And Shabba went and called, then he found that his son is playing in the field. And पुकारते ही दौड़ के आ गया। तो उनको देख के कर्ण तो एकदम ताज्जुब बन गए। In his front is the meat of his own son prepared by himself, and in front he sees this alive, son is alive. Then they could understand is a trick, and he fell at the feet of Sri Krishna. Please tell me who you are. Then he revealed. He said, I am Narayana. I came from the heaven, Vaikuntha, to test you, and you have become successful. You have won the test. Such is the standard of our country. It gives a message, as Swami Vivekananda says, and our Shastra says, Tyagi naiki amritatva manashuhu. By renunciation alone, immortality is attained. इंसान अमर हो जाते हैं. त्याग करने से कुछ कम नहीं होता है, हम भरपूर हो जाते हैं. The nature replenishes more than we can give. We cannot. He said, ईश्वर को कोई ऋणी नहीं कर सकते हैं. आप जितने भी दोगे, इज पिकुलियर मैथमेटिक्स, आश्चर्य गणित है. हमारी दुनिया का गणित है. आपको कोई धनराशि होगा, अगर आप कुछ साझा करेंगे, बंटवारा करेंगे, तो धनराशि घट जाएगा. लेकिन आध्यात्मिक जीवन में आपका जो संपदा है, आप जितने भी दोगे उतना भी बढ़ जाएगा. रिवर्स, द मोर यू गिव, the more you are replenished with fresh vigor, fresh energy, fresh blessings. In the modern science we find, when you give blood donation, when you donate blood, blood cannot be purchased, blood cannot be manufactured in a factory. Only in human body so far, blood is made. Even at the advancement of modern science and technology, we have not yet been able to manufacture blood outside the human body. And that's why he said blood cannot be sold. But when you donate blood to save others, you can definitely donate blood. Only a human body can donate. No other animal's blood will do. If you transfuse any other blood other than your group, the patient will die. The patient's own group of blood has to be transfused. But it's very surprising, the person who donates blood, within 4 weeks, the entire blood is replenished automatically without taking a single drug or a nutrition. Automatically, the entire blood is replenished, and the doctors say the replenished blood is a much better quality than it was before. जो खून का जो मान था आपने दिया, उससे और ताज़ा खून और अच्छा फ्रेश खून से, विदाउट एनी लॉस ऑफ द बॉडी वेट, कुछ नुकसान नहीं हुआ, अपने आप वो भरपाई हो गया. दिस इज साइंस, स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फैक्ट, द मॉडर्न मेडिकल साइंस. Similarly, whatever you have, when you give, you are replenished and you become more excellent, more blessed. That's why Swami Vivekananda says, Bhikkhuker kabe bolo shuk, kripa patra hoye kiva fall. It's a poem he writes. Thou are fire nai chao, thake jodi hridaya sambol. Swamiji says, do not ever take the role of a beggar in this life. We are not beggars, we are givers here. A beggar cannot have peace in mind. Unfortunately, we are taking the role of a beggar, asking here and there, knocking our head from pillar to post. Then it was asked that a person who doesn't have, what can he give? Rich people can give money, but those who are poor, Swamiji says, Ananter tumi adhikari, is a Bengali poem. Ananter tumi adhikari, kripa patro hoye kiva fall. Thou art fire nai chao, thake jodi hridaya sambol. we are inheriting infinite bliss, infinite joy, infinite strength within us, never ending. Go on giving. But what is the infinite joy was hidden, सुप्त अवस्था में है, वो प्रकटित हो जाएगा. जितने दोगे उतने से ज़्यादा प्रकटित होगा. The secret of our personality development is to give up, go on giving, and it is replenished from within, not from outside. आपके भीतर जो पूर्णता है, जो तेज है, जो ऊर्जा है, वो विकसित हो जाएंगे. You pump out the air from this room mechanically. Instantly this room is filled with fresh air. The room will not be, you cannot empty this room. Atmospheric pressure will force outside air, fresh air, to rush in here. So when you give up, as the story goes, Karna gave up his own son. And he got back his son. Then Narayana told him that Karna, you have given this son to me, and now he is my child. He is Dishaketu. And in Mahabharata, the story says that after Arjuna, in the next generation, not Abhimanyu, but Dishaketu was the knower of all weapons. They were the knower of all weapons, received from gods. It was handed over from generation to generation. After the generation of Bhim, Arjuna, etc., next generation there was no one who knew this story, knew the secret. Brishaketu knew. And when Brishaketu died, this weapon became lost from the world. He was the custodian, the son of Narayana now. So we become divine when we give. Human to divine transformation is done by ourselves, by the simple act of sharing whatever we have. Swamiji says, do not be afraid. Whatever you have, you give. You will be replenished. And you will be blessed, you will be joyful, you will be full. But never ask anything. He says, we have an ocean of bliss within you. Anante tumya adhikari. But when you ask something, tar shindu bindu hoye jaan. Your ocean of bliss, ocean of joy dries up instantaneously when you turn your role from the giver to receiver. The moment you make yourself a beggar, your all wealth vanishes, dries up, and you are lost. So that is the lesson we learn from the scriptures, from our old epics and Puranas, which constantly tell us, be excellent, be successful in life by giving up whatever you have and being replenished from within and become blessed in this life. We continue further in our next Sunday class. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampadrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidyam tam Ramakrishnam shirosanamama. Now we close the discourse today with a chanting of the Lord. Please join with me. Next Sunday will be the Vijayadashimi, Durga Puja culmination day. So the classes will not be held. We will meet again on the 20th of October. Please join with me. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om. Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om Ramakrishna, Hari Om.